What's going on, YouTube? We got another episode here of the Dunces Podcast. I'm out here with my boy Isandro and no one else. Isandro, what's good, bro?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm vibing.
I respect it, dude.
What
This
about
is our
you, bro?
first time.
Nobody ever
I'm,
asks how the host is doing.
that is
Is it
true. No one ever asked me how I'm doing. I'm okay. I'm gaining a little weight, but I just got a haircut, so new year, new me, starting next week. Um, but anyway, as of right now, I am a little sad because the Nets did just lose to Memphis, but that's okay. Not too bad. We didn't have KD or
I mean,
Kyrie.
the way they lost? I think we'll talk about that in a bit. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did
we'll get into that.
lose to Memphis, and they lost Spencer Dinwiddie to an ACL injury.
Yes, they did, but we'll get into that more as the podcast goes. But today, guys, our first time doing a two-man pod. Isandro and I were the only ones available tonight, but we couldn't leave you guys hanging on this week's episode. And really, we just want to talk about what's been going on so far. We're about 3 games in on this new up and coming, regular season. Very weird year so far, obviously, because we started off the season on December 22nd. Usually, season starts in November or October. But because of this pandemic, things have changed. But as we can see, basketball is still fun, equally as fun. Even with though there's no fans, we do wish there were fans, but basketball's still going. So a lot to talk about, Isandro. You mentioned it. My guy, Spencer Dinwiddie, man. It sucks, bro. Cause man, he already got injured in college, right? He tore his ACL and his MCL, same leg, and they said, he wouldn't be able to come back and all. Like, there's a whole heartfelt Instagram post that he posted on a few hours ago. And then well, we just saw like his journey, right? Especially as a Nets fan, I saw his journey, from the D League down to Chicago, Detroit, and then finally coming to Brooklyn where we took a chance on him, and he, man, he really took advantage of it to the point where he averaged 20 points last season, man. And now, new team, new system, and he still did his thing until getting injured here. So it's pretty tough, man. I don't think it's a deal breaker for the Nets. I think we still got a really, really good chance, but
The
Dinwiddie is
East
a
of
very,
it
very
missed,
important.
especially in this recent loss to the Grizzlies.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's more like heartfelt, only because like growing up and watching him like develop. Obviously, it's gonna suck, but um, not to say that we don't need him, because obviously, who's not gonna want a player of his caliber on your team?
But
But
there's cover. Like people can step up, and
exactly,
there's enough.
yeah,
Chris Levert, he dropped 28 points, I believe, in this
yeah,
loss.
yeah. No, Levert is balling out. You know who's balling out for us, man? Timothy Luwawu Cabarro. When,
I was actually going to say that, yeah, because he was balling out, right? But then it got to the end, and he scored 2 points in the third quarter, and then nothing in the fourth. And he
yeah,
had 19 points in the first half. So he was balling out, and then he got cold. So
yeah,
it would be maybe a sign of things to come where he'll be a little inconsistent, but at least he's been stepping up and putting in some points.
yeah.
At
Because
least.
because if you remember in the bubble last season, Luwawu Cabarro was averaging like 15 points a game. Obviously it was a really small sample size, but it's still enough, to help us out. I mean, obviously Dinwiddie is Dinwiddie, right? Like he's a solid number 3, number 2 guy on your team, and it just sucks losing him. It sucks losing that extra offensive firepower on your team, but
Definitely.
that's the thing
Especially
with the NBA, right?
when you look at a team like the Lakers, in their win over the Mavericks, they had Dennis Schroeder at 18 points. They had, I think Harold either had 20 or 22, and then I can't remember. It's blanking on me, but somebody else was in the 20s. I think somebody else was in the 20s, and then you had LeBron and AD, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, that's a lot of people in the 20s. A lot
Yeah,
of they're stepping up.
it comes, yeah, exactly. It comes to depth, and I felt like the Nets really did have that, especially with Dinwiddie. But even then, I've said it in our group chats and just in regular talk, like the Nets have an 11-man roster. right? Like Luau Cabarro is that 11th guy, and now he's just going to be moved up into being that 10th guy, and it sucks that Dinwiddie's going to have to watch from the sidelines, but he's going to grow and learn so much, off the court. So, it sucks having another injury, Kyrie last season, KD obviously last season. But we have Kyrie and KD now, right? So like that offense is just gonna bolster, and all our prayers go out to Dinwiddie, man. Hopefully, speedy recovery, come back next season and ball out because contract year for him too. So hopefully he gets what he deserves. Uh,
Uh, what do
but
you think? So yeah, I was actually wondering about that. What do you think of the because you said you guys have an 11-man roster, right? And I kind of saw that in flashes, and I'm leaning more towards believing you. However, I've kind of been seeing in these past 2 days, Kyrie and KD they didn't play today, and they lost against a Grizzlies team that didn't have John Morant for half the game because he got injured unfortunately as well. And then before they kind of had to come in a little earlier than expected in the fourth quarter because they were losing to Charlotte.
yeah, it's I don't really know like what to say about it, honestly. I mean, it's what are we? We're 4 games in. We barely lost to Charlotte, and we lost because KD missed a shot that he will make 99% of the time. So like with that one, it's with that one we just couldn't buy a basket. Like the other guys just couldn't buy a basket, which happens sometimes. And in today's game, we were hitting shots up until the second half. Like the second half we just broke down. And even then we were still keeping it relatively close. Even though we were out rebounded a lot. DeAndre Jordan, man, there's just some plays that he just looks disinterested. But that's I've DeAndre is like that now. That's DeAndre Jordan from now on for the rest of his career. And then Levert has some good plays, but he really, I feel like he was just trying too hard, because I feel like he knows he's the best player in today's game specifically, right? He's the best player out of everybody on that whole roster besides KD and Kai. But the ones who played, Levert was obviously the best player, so obviously he wanted to take over. But there were just some moments where, like, turning over the ball, like in the way that he did, it
And
just didn't
especially
sit well with me.
taking a step back 3-pointer, I guess for the glitz and the glamour when he
Say
didn't
say that
really need
again.
a
Sorry.
3-pointer. Taking a step back three when he didn't really need a 3-pointer. He didn't
Yeah,
need. I mean, he could have had a much better, a much easier shot, but he wanted that step back three, and then he breaks it.
yeah.
And they lose.
It was just a weird way to end the game. And then in the overtime, both teams, honestly, Memphis didn't really do that well. The only thing that they did well was rebound, and that's because they have rebounders. The Nets don't. We have DeAndre Jordan who can rebound if he wanted to, but he just doesn't want to. And Jared Allen, he's good, but against Valanciunas and against really just any big, like solid big, he won't be able to outmuscle him because Allen is just a little too skinny. But honestly, I'm not really too worried. It's 4 games. We're 2-2. Um, Kyrie and KD, they're too good, honestly. So I'm not too worried. But I feel like we're gonna have this conversation again in a few weeks or a few months, and we'll see what happens then. But for right now, 2-2, I'm fine with it.
I
It's
mean,
it's heartbreaking the way we lost, but
I was getting hyped before these past two games because they tore the Celtics apart. KD and Kyrie.
oh yeah, oh
Kyrie
yeah,
going 37 points.
oh
And that's
yeah,
a Celtics team that came, what did they come in? Third or fourth place in the East last year? They
yeah.
came up with Miami. That to me, that was just like, oh, I instantly started saying these guys are the only contenders for the Lakers, the only
You
guys.
it's funny you say that because the first 2 games, right? Against the Warriors is like, okay, that's opening night. We obviously weren't gonna lose that game, especially against the Warriors. Come on. But against Boston, it was like we wanted to put like our name had to be known that, like, all right, like the Nets are coming. And these past 2 games, it's just like, they were the Nets on Yes. They weren't the Nets on ESPN or the Nets on TNT. Like they played down to their level, which is normal with a squad that is just so talented, right? It's like the Lakers, like they coast through the regular season. I feel like that's the same thing that's gonna happen to the Nets. Right now the Nets are just trying to build chemistry. And we have it, like we saw in Boston, right? We saw the chemistry. Now in these past 2 games, it's just dimming out because, well, they don't really care. Right now, they're just filling each other out. That's what I see it. But obviously, I'm a Nets fan, so I don't know how you would see it. I don't know, like if you got something to say about it.
No, I feel the same way. That to me makes more sense, to be honest. It's kind of like taking your gas off the pedal for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and it's normal, right? Like right now, regular season doesn't matter. But what matters is the playoffs, and just as long as we get into the playoffs, different KD, different Kyrie, different Nets team. That's all I'm excited for.
You think how
Um,
they performed in OT against the Grizzlies, is that going to affect them in the future? Or do you think if
nah,
you throw Kyrie and KD in there, it's like it doesn't make a difference anymore? Like you have those guys on that floor, they're going to be able to handle any OT situation. You
yeah,
think?
no, I don't think it really like matters to them, honestly. They just couldn't buy a basket, man. It was just as simple as X's and O's. Like they couldn't buy a basket. Rebounding is where they really need to like try, because you had these players, like, again, Memphis has a good rebounding team. This kid Valanciunas and Brandon Clark, two big bodies that when on the floor, and that's in that last possession when Cal Anderson missed that free throw, we had Jeff Green and Luau Cabarro. They weren't going to get a rebound over Valanciunas and Brandon Clark. I'm sorry, they can't. They're too small compared to those two, right? So it's just defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding. Um, Defensively, we are very iffy, but again, we're 4 games in. There's so much more that we can talk about. Um, but I feel like we'll be having this conversation a whole lot more once there's more games under the belt, right? Because
Like
Kyrie and
once the
KD,
sample size kind of increases and then we can
exactly,
compare everything
yeah,
together. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, because it's my Nets. We're obviously gonna always talk about the Nets, which is why I want to like shift over to Memphis. Actually, John Morant, man, sprained his ankle. It looked a lot worse than it originally like seemed.
Especially his reaction, like he
Yeah,
immediately started hobbling over to the sidelines.
I kid you not, I really thought it was his Achilles, like just because. And Johnny said it in our text in our group message, like he reminds him of like a young Derrick Rose, which
When he
scared
said
me.
that, I'm like, nah, please, no, don't even.
Yeah,
I'm not even
exactly.
saying that.
Exactly, because it's like, young Derrick Rose was a baller, but he just didn't know how to land, and that's led to a lot of the things that's happened throughout his career. I mean, obviously, props to D Rose for becoming what he is now, because D Rose is a baller, but we don't want that for John Morant. Like, we want John Morant to be what D Rose could have become. You know what I mean?
Like,
Um,
like a peak prime D Rose, no ACL, none
exactly,
of the other.
exactly. Which is why it scared me so much, man. His reaction. Oh my God, I was so sad,
So
but
because that was when I tuned into the game when you texted.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm so excited to see John Moran, and then the first thing I see is him fouling the guy, but he lands so wrong, and then he gets injured. I'm
yeah.
like, really?
Oh my God, yo,
So
ankle injuries, man. They hurt so much, and they hurt because it's like you feel like you can control them, but you really can't. Like, your ankles are just so weird. It's like they're just so
yeah,
flexible.
especially like
Yeah, but it sucks. Seeing, because he's so young, and he just needs to learn how to like plant his feet. But in that case, it wasn't really his fault. He just stepped on a
well,
defender.
it was his fault because that foul was just crazy. He just
That's true.
flew up.
Yeah,
He flew
yeah.
for no reason. For no reason.
I guess my point is, like, when it comes to like falling on somebody else's foot, you can't really blame the person who fell on that foot. But at the same time, it's like he shouldn't have. It's the
He shouldn't
second
have fallen.
quarter. Yeah,
Like
it's the second
I
quarter. Like, it
agree with what
doesn't.
you're saying, but if you think about it, this is nowhere near like the Kawhi getting injured because of that guy on the
Yeah,
Warriors team.
Pachulia. Yeah,
They ended up making the protocols because of him.
yeah. No, it just sucks to see, man. And the thank God it's just a sprain. He's gonna be out a few weeks. You know, and it sucks too because Jaren Jackson Jr., this arguably the second best player, is also out. So Memphis, we didn't have them in the playoffs. Now with these two injuries, I really think that they're most likely going to be again back in the lottery. What do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, to be honest. It might even be a blessing in disguise because they're a good team, and John Moran he's a really good player, but they could really benefit from just dipping back into that lottery and just re-rolling and going again next year, because this year it kind of feels very, very straight, especially with their situation, but it feels very straightforward unless you know, some teams defy expectations. It feels very straightforward which teams are going to be contending. So
Yeah,
this year kind of feels, I don't want to say like a gimme, but there's only like two or three, maybe four teams that you can expect to see in the finals.
yeah,
So this might feel like a re-roll and just, try again next year kind of year.
yeah, yeah. And it sucks too though, cause like John Morant, he's so fun to watch, bro. John Morant is one of the best like
I mean,
highlight
that's
players in
that's
the
what I
league, man.
hear, and I had yet to see a John Moran game, and then I thought, hey, I'm gonna finally get to see John Moran, and then nope.
Hey, hold up, you saw Tyus Jones though. That's all that
I,
matters.
oh, definitely. Who needs John Moran when you have Tyus Jones?
Exactly.
Yes, please.
But no, man, that was a hopefully speedy recovery for John and Triple J too, man. But we also got something crazy that happened last night, bro. The Clippers lost by 52, I believe, or it was 50 points.
51, I believe.
51. They
They were
lost
losing
to
by
the
50 at the
Mavs.
half,
That's
so
to
they
the
did worse.
Mavericks, bro. That's that's insane. Like, okay, I get it. Kawhi didn't play, but you have another superstar player on your team
He's
who
not a
has
superstar.
he's been playing like a superstar the first 3 or 2 games, but damn, that
we
team,
we
bro.
we got a taste of playoff PG.
Yo, fat. And you know what? I feel so bad for Paul George, bro, because like
I,
he
I
does
used
he
to,
does
but not anymore.
he does so well, right? Like in the first 3 games, like I mentioned, he did so well, and he balled out. But everybody was saying, "Oh, this is regular season. Like he can't do this in the playoffs." And then he has that one terrible, horrific, horrible game, and they say, "Yeah, pandemic P is back." All this stuff is like going after Paul George, right? Like that's all that they're accustomed to. And it's like, man, this guy does not like get no love no more. But at the same time, like,
It's deserved though,
yeah,
because
that's what I was just about to say.
it'd be different. It'd be different if they lost by 50 and then people were still complaining, but he balled out and he was getting scapegoated. He dropped 14 points and he is in a 50-point loss when you are
That's
the best
insane.
player on that team without
That's
Kawhi
insane.
there. That's
That's insane.
inexcusable.
It
LeBron was getting blown out on the Cavs, but he was putting in the work. Obviously, I'm not comparing PG to LeBron, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, if
no,
you are
I
the
understand
best
what you mean.
player on a team, you got to step up. You can't be dropping
Yeah,
14 points when they don't even
yeah.
have Kristaps Porzingis, you know?
Well, yesterday they did. Yesterday they had Kristaps, but it was a Kristaps that just came back from injury. So
They don't
yeah,
have like a fully healthy Kristaps anymore.
exactly. Yeah. So it's I don't know, bro. Clippers, man, and I said it even in the first game that they beat the Lakers. Paul George did his thing, Kawhi did his thing, but that team needs a floor general. They don't have that. With the Clippers offense is so simple, anybody could do it. All they do is give it to Kawhi or PG or even Lou Williams. Drive baseline, kick it out either to a shooter or dump it off to Kawhi or PG in the middle of the court and then just go back and do the same thing. It's the simplest play, and it is not effective for that team. You got Patrick Beverly, who's a good defender. I think he is, but I think at the same time, he talks too much, which was what like that's like he's a glorified good defender, you know? Because I think he's solid, he's a good defender, but he's not great to the point where like he can stop anybody because he can't. Pat Beverly is a bum and he can't shoot. Another thing, right? And then you got Lou Will, who can play defense, right? And he's great offensively. Lou Will is a baller, hands down one of my favorite players to watch. But he's another one. He'll go drive baseline, try to kick it out, and by kick out, I don't even mean kick out to the 3 point line. I mean kick out to the middle of the paint or in a 2 point field goal. It's the simplest offense. It's not effective and it's not working for that team. They need a real, true point guard.
For
Chris
that
Paul,
and for the leadership aspect of it.
exactly.
We were saying
Chris
this before
Paul,
in one of our other pods. They need a leader. And
Chris
that
Paul,
didn't, yeah.
Chris Paul would have been perfect for that team, and I get it. The money wouldn't have worked, but
And Rondo?
Rondo was that was the guy. That was the guy they should have gone for. And you see it now more than ever how desperately they need it. Like before we knew it because they needed a leader on the floor. That's great. And Rondo would have been that. But Rondo would have also directed that offense and put players in position to where they can actually like, be utilized.
Be
Because
effective.
they're not doing that in the Clippers offense. And as great as they did those first two games, man, first three, whatever, losing by 50 to the Mavericks, who I believe Mavericks are always going to be underrated. Luca and Kristaps.
They're
As
a
long as
great team.
as long as Kristaps stays healthy, definitely top three in the Western Conference. I really really do believe that.
Yeah, no
And
doubt. But I mean, the biggest thing is can Kristaps stay healthy? That's why I think
yeah,
it's a gift. But yeah,
but
I agree
even
with what you're saying.
even then they won by 50. Like Luca literally he carried those Clippers in his hands like they're his own babies. Like the Clippers, it was just so bad to watch.
I've never seen like a team's issues laid so bare in front of me in my eyes than in that loss, that
And
50,
this is a championship contending team, according to
right?
them. Exactly, like, exactly. Championship contending. So I don't know, man. There's so much that team needs, but losing by 50 to the Mavericks, it really shows us like what's in store for us in the upcoming NBA season. Hopefully they get somebody, man. But you know, I don't know. I don't know
I
what to
think
say.
for their sake, I think yeah.
It would be a whole lot better, a whole lot more fun to watch. Clippers and Lakers, that should be the Western Conference Finals. But I don't mind seeing the Nuggets in the conference finals again.
It's so interesting when you think about it because the Clippers beat the Lakers, right? Lakers beat the Mavericks, and now the Mavericks are beating the Clippers. It's like, is it like a rock paper scissors shoot kind of situation, or is it just
Basically.
like
So yeah. Something I do want to say about Dallas though, and I'm not gonna chuck Charles Barkley guarantee it. What I am gonna say is though, the Dallas Mavericks, barring any injury, besides the Nets, even then, I don't think the Nets have it this season for a championship. I think the Dallas Mavericks are gonna win the 2021 NBA championship, bro.
over the Lakers
Over every single NBA team in the NBA.
with a healthy Kristaps?
With the healthy Kristaps, Dallas Mavericks are winning the 2021 NBA championship.
And
And
why do you?
Luka Doncic will be NBA MVP and Finals MVP this season.
Interesting, interesting. Who do
I
you have
am
them going up against? You have them going up
I
against the Nets in the finals. You're Nets. You're a Brooklyn Nets fan. You have them winning against the Nets. Is that the case?
no, actually,
They
because I
take
don't know.
into the finals.
I do believe the Nets do make it, but at the same time I don't. I don't know. There's something a little, I don't know. Again, barring any injury, uh, obviously I'm gonna root for my Nets, and I still believe Lakers have probably the best squad, but there's something about Dallas, man, that I'm looking at Luca, and they obviously need a lot more help, but I think Luca is gonna be able to carry them, especially with the healthy Kristaps. Whoever they play, look, if they play the Nets, it sucks to say it, but I think Dallas has a chance over us. And frankly, like I said, Dallas Mavericks are 2021 NBA champions in my eyes. And it's not because
I
of that one game. It's not because of all that.
like
It's
you're getting
because
super excited just because of a
yeah,
50.
no,
Oh, it is a 51 point game.
yeah, no, but I just think the Dallas Mavericks have built something with so many rotational players, something that the Rockets tried to do. The thing is that Luka Doncic he makes his teammates so much better, and himself, like Luka Doncic is a different breed. I really believe, look, even if they don't win, even if my hot take is crazy, even if they don't win, I still have Luka Doncic at least in my top 3 MVP voting. Like Luka Doncic is that good. And I think he got it. I think he got the MVP. As for the playoffs,
I think it's
they
his to
have
lose, to be honest.
yeah, it really, really is. Like, and Luca is insane. Like Luca, of all the players I've seen, it just comes so naturally, so easy to him, right? Same thing with Kristaps. If Kristaps he don't even got to be 100% healthy. As long as he's 80% of what Kristaps could be, by all means, they're winning it. Because then you have players like, look, Brunson, solid, way better than Patrick Beverly. You got Josh Richardson, defensively a dog, and he can get his own shot, and he can help out, Luca. Tim Hardaway Jr. inconsistent, but when it matters, I could trust him. Not all the time, but I could trust him most of the time. You got big, solid bigs, Dwight Powell, and this kid Maxi Kleba, right? You got Boban. Boban giving you solid minutes. Like Dorian Finney-Smith, one of the most underrated small forwards in the NBA. 3 and D, can catch and shoot, can guard the best player on the opposing team. They just have all the right pieces, man. And I know it's crazy, but I really do think Dallas is they're winning the 2021 NBA championship. Like I'll write it down on the blackboard if you want me to, bro. Like
Okay, so I can agree to a certain extent with your analysis of this team because I think from what we've seen, and this is like way too early, kind of like a way too early predictions. Out of everybody that we've seen, I think it's going to be Lakers first seed, and then Mavericks could be second or third seed. They could really be up there because they're
yeah,
doing this well without a healthy Kristaps Porzingis. Imagine Kristaps Porzingis; he's coming back, he's firing on all cylinders.
yeah,
This is a team that can give the Lakers a run for their money.
yeah.
However, in a 7-game series, I do feel like the Lakers still have more to beat them. I feel like it's going to take the Lakers to pull a Clippers in order for the Mavericks to win. You
I
know, I
I
just don't.
understand. I understand everything you're saying, but hear my point, right? LeBron, I never want to discount LeBron, and I never want to say his age, but I think I
Don't
have to
say
today.
enough. Don't say enough.
Look, my thing is that LeBron just came off of a finals where he went 6 games. He had a month and a half off just to restart another NBA season, right? Like a lot of these guys are fatigued. You see it, and one minor injury can cause. And I say minor because again, LeBron is older. So let's say, like his ankle, he did get injured. If he re-aggravates it, that could like cost them a good 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer for LeBron. Then you got the finals that would start what I'd say mid-July or late June. I don't know, whenever the season, however the season plays out, because we don't know yet. We only have the first half schedule. But I just feel like they're just gonna be so tired, so fatigued, because it's like a whole year of playing basketball, right? And it's you only get a month and a half off. Like that's not enough, right? And
Nah.
I don't want to discredit, man, but
But the thing is, you're not taking it into account. Look at the Lakers' first game of the season. They lost.
yeah.
Johnny, a Lakers fan, has been saying the Clippers were going to beat the Lakers ever since that schedule.
Oh, we all knew. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Why? Because they only had a month and a half off, right? He's the one who's been saying this. They are going to coast this. Right? They might not even make it to first seed. I wouldn't even expect them to make
Yeah,
it.
I don't think so either. But my
Probably because
yeah,
they're going
well,
to coast this season in order to perform when it matters.
yeah,
So
and
your
and
assessment of
that's
them is really just because they're going to be tired from this season, but they're not. They're going to be fresh. They will sacrifice this season in order to be fresh for the postseason.
and
You know,
I believe it. I agree with you. But at the same
there's
time,
a but. There's a but. I think.
at the same time, man, I'm putting all my trust in Luka Doncic, bro, to like lead
Well,
that
let me
team.
ask you this, bro. Let me ask you this, bro.
Hmm.
A full, fit, and firing, healthy Dallas Mavericks team. Put that up in a 7-game series against a full, fit, and firing Lakers team. Fit and firing, they're not tired. Anthony Davis is going off like Anthony Davis does, and LeBron averaging a triple double per game. Who do you have winning that series? 7 games.
Dallas,
Be honest. Are
Dallas.
you serious?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
I
Well,
got that. I believe in Luka Magic. I believe in the Wonder Boy. I don't know. There's just something. There's something about that team. It's gonna. It feels like a little Dirkish to me. You know what I mean? Like when he won that championship in 2011.
against a LeBron who was learning how to win versus a LeBron who's seasoned and who has 4 rings already by this point.
Yeah.
Can't really be compared to two situations.
No, no. What I'm saying is Look, if we're going by history, right, this season it took 10 years for the Lakers to win one, right? So back in 2010 they won. Now in 2020 they win. What happened the year after? Dallas won in 2011. 10 years later is 2021. The storyline just matches up. Luka Doncic
History
is
is repeating itself, is what you're saying.
exactly, and Luka Doncic is on another level. He's on another tier. I get it. Overall, the Lakers have a better team, but there's something about that kid in Dallas that I'm sorry, bro. And I know I said Nets 2021 NBA championship. That's because I'm a Nets fan. I wanted to speak it to in existence, and I'll do. I still believe Nets can win it, and I want them to win it. But if I'm gonna be unbiased, if I'm gonna be, a sports
Unbiased,
podcaster like we are,
clear state of mind, right? Because I feel
I
like that's
have
the case right now.
I have Dallas. Even though I believe they're 1-2, but I have Dallas as my favorites to win the 2021 NBA championship. If they don't, that's fine. I don't really care because obviously I want my Nets to win. But I don't know, bro. There's something about Dallas I'm really excited to see what they can do, like officially full NBA season. And as long as Kristaps stays healthy, man, Dallas Mavericks my 2021 NBA champs. But
I see what you're saying. And because of what you're saying, I feel like next year, not this year. It could be this year. Maybe you're right, but I doubt it. I think next year is going to be it.
yeah, what
Yeah.
I am gonna say though is I'm about like 99, no, not 99, about like 90% leaning more towards Luca winning the MVP though. I think Luca
That's a more realistic, like a more realistic take, I think.
he's gonna have like about a month or two where he's just gonna go off and he's gonna ball out. And I really think that it, like you said, it's gonna be his to lose. So, that's my hot take for today. But we could talk a little bit more about that. I think that's another thing, right? Like, I'm obviously I'm really excited with Dallas and what they've done. Um, that's another team we could look at in a few months, like what we're gonna do with Brooklyn, right? Like we could look at where they're at. We could be like, dang, maybe Jay was crazy, or maybe Jay was like right. Like I don't know. Like we could,
I mean,
we'll
right
talk
now we're saying Jay is crazy, and maybe
right now, right now. I
we'll
mean,
look back at this and say, "Yo, Jay, he was spitting facts." Yeah.
exactly. You never, that's why the NBA is so much fun, man. Again, barring any injury, hopefully, because Dallas, even if they don't win, they just have such a fun team, bro. Like Luca and Kristaps, it's like the baby Nash and baby Dirk. It's a lot of fun watching that. Um, but I do want to get into a championship contender, I guess.
You really got to throw up those air quotes too when you say that. If you're talking about the team, I think you're going to talk about.
I who am
Is
I
it
thinking, bro?
is it the Bucks? Is it,
Exactly. Yeah, I was I was
you really
thinking
got to
about the
throw up
Bucks.
a
Yeah,
championship contender.
and so I'm in this group chat on Instagram with my boy Mig. Shout out to the homie Mig, the Mirrorless Podcast out on YouTube, also on Spotify. Check him out.
All
Um,
listening platforms where you get your podcast. Check it out.
yes, yes. My boy Mig was saying like he really doesn't like Giannis, and I was like, bro, like why not? Like he's like, cause Giannis, the way he plays, man, is it's so simple, it's so easy, and the team just won't win. Like that team just can't win with the way he plays in the playoffs. It just won't work. So he doesn't like it, and I'm like, damn, like okay, I get it, but this team just there's something different about this team. They got Drew Holiday, they got Augustine coming off the bench, they got Torrey Craig, they got Bobby Portis, DiVincenzo is gonna break out, bro. Then they lose by 20 to the
The
to
New
the
York Knicks.
Knicks, to the
That
Knicks.
other team in New York,
Exactly, the other team, the team that's irrelevant. They lost
or
by
so we
20,
thought.
bro. Yeah, because they've been balling, bro. The Knicks looking
Julius
like
Randle,
fun, man.
like
Oh yeah,
MVP, MIP, MIP.
yo, th- that team, bro. Like the Knicks look as bad as they are, and as much as I hate them because I am a Nets fan. Defensively, bro, Thibodeau is doing something to them, and I like what I'm seeing from Knox. I like what I'm seeing from Ntilikina. There's a little bit more confidence in those guys. It's fun to watch, but at the same time, it's like the Bucks should not lose by 20 to the Knicks.
Well, real quick on the Knicks, if you think about it, they've just been consistently underperforming for a while.
Yeah.
So to see them actually do well, it's like, well, you guys are kind of doing what you're supposed to be doing. Julius Randle, they signed
Yeah.
you for how much money? You're dropping 25 a game. Okay, there you go. You're doing your job. You know, I don't know why it's so.
Damn.
It's great. It's a little sad that it's so much of a surprise that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. But yeah,
That is, I didn't even look at it that way, but you're absolutely right. The Knicks have been bad, and they need to finally step up and
they
do
have.
exactly what they're
I
worth,
mean, they have a
right?
bunch of players that on paper they should be good, but that's not how it pans out.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, no, Knicks suck. That's all I'm gonna say. I want to get Jerry on the podcast, by the way. You don't know, I don't know if you know Jerry, but he's a
He's a
Knicks
Knicks
fan.
fan.
He's a Knicks fan, so I
He's
want
from
to get
New
a
Jersey.
full Knicks podcast, just just with him, just like hear his
If I,
beef,
yeah.
because I know if I were a Knicks fan, God, I'd have so much to like let loose. But as
If
for
I
the
get to have
Bucks,
a conversation with him, I'm going to offer my condolences because I know it's got to be really rough. It's
oh
got to
yeah,
be, you know.
shout out all our Knicks fans, man. Sucks to be you guys. But as for the Bucks, man, that was such a bad game by the others because I mean Giannis too. Giannis he wasn't what he should be, but Middleton balled out. Drew Holiday did so bad in that game, and it wasn't just offensively. Defensively, he just looked off. Like, and then the other guys like Bobby Portis was not it. Lopez was not doing anything. He was turning the ball over. He was making a lot of rookie mistakes. Like it was just a bad game by the others, right? And Giannis, he can't hit free throws. He takes shots, which is fine, but at some point we have to stop asking the question, or like stop thinking like, oh, if he improves, like no, it
He's
should
not.
be improved. Like he's been in the league how long now? He's been in the league since 2013.
Yeah,
This
back to
is
back
7 years,
MVP.
back to back MVPs, and it's the same thing over and over again. And they said, oh well, in the playoffs, the game slows down, which is what costs Giannis and the Bucks, right? Okay, but now teams aren't even playing playoff defense, but he's still getting stopped. Like he's just so easy to nitpick and to like look at and be like, all you're gonna do is drive, Euro step, kick out to a shooter. That's all he's gonna do. Basically, what I said about the Clips. That's all Giannis does. And Drew Holiday really, really looked like the first season he was in New Orleans. Like he just looked bad. And Middleton is balling. Middleton is. We talk a lot about Middleton saying that he's not a good secondary option, but you know what? Middleton is doing a great job so
He's
far.
been the second. Well, last game against the Warriors, they blew out the Warriors. He was the first option. Giannis
Yeah,
had 15 points. Middleton had 31 points. So he was
yeah.
far and away the best player on that court.
Even against Boston, like against Boston when they lost, they didn't lose because of Middleton. They lost because Giannis missed that free throw. Like,
Really. In a kind of lucky shot, kind of, but it was still a
no,
lucky.
that was a way lucky shot. Shout out Tatum though. He has the same name as me, same spelled. But
Oh, with the Y.
yeah, but he's from
Oh,
Duke, so we don't like
oh,
Duke guys. But
okay.
as for like still they lost, right? And Giannis shouldn't have missed that free throw. So it's that team is so simple to just look at and be like, yo, they really needed Bogdanovich. Like as underrated as he is, because Bogdanovich isn't that great, but damn, they needed him to like spread out that floor to just give you some more offense. Because damn, Giannis cannot do anything. Like all he does is run. Like, and I remember I was talking to Kev, shout out an ex dunce, but he was like, with James, because James Harden, I remember he said, I think it was last season or 2 seasons ago, he was like, anybody could run and dunk the ball, but ain't nobody gonna do what I do. And I remember I was like, that's cap, because Giannis does a whole lot more. And Kev was like, nah, bro, like if you think about it, that's all Giannis does. Anybody could do that too. Like if I wanted to, I could do that. You know how Kev talk. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't believe that, man. Giannis is just he's that dude. But I don't know, bro. He's not proven that. He's proven me wrong. And it's sad to see because he's been, like I say, he's been in the league 7 years and all he does is run, jump. Like it until Giannis officially like improves that shot. Bucks are going absolutely nowhere. They might still get the number one seed, but ain't no way they're making it to the finals. And if they do, they won't win. They, that team is
I don't see them
just
making it to the finals. Who can they? They're not going to beat the Nets. Not in
no
the
way.
same series.
Frankly, I don't even see them going past the second round. If they match up against Boston, or if they match up against man, even Toronto. Toronto definitely took a dip. I still take Toronto over them just
Maybe.
because they'll know how to play them defensively, I'm just saying that as in like any team could beat them. You know what I mean? Like any team in the East could beat them if all they got to do is just clog up the paint. Like it's not that difficult to do. So that loss to
Yeah,
the Knicks,
they've done it for the past few
yeah,
years.
that loss to the Knicks really like, and I get it. Again, it's just 4 games in, 3 games in, so like it's such a small sample size, but at the
Like
same
like
time,
I'm saying, these are way too early predictions, right?
yeah, exactly. It's way too early predictions, but even then, bro, it just
It's not
it
looking good in the four
mm-mm,
games that we've seen, 3 games.
no way, not looking good at all. And Giannis, man, if he doesn't prove it this season, I don't know, bro. Because I know that he got paid and he deservedly so because he is great. But that at some point it's like, nah, bro. The Bucks have done everything they can to get you your help. Now it's your time to like show us that improvement. Show us, those workout videos you posting, do them in the game. Because they if they really want to win, it falls in the hands of your two-time MVP. Giannis has to step up, man. And
And it's so interesting the flip because a couple weeks ago, when he was still mulling over the decision, we were kind of saying how he needs to win on this team because this team needs to give him what he needs. You
mhm,
know, it's on the team. You know, Giannis and people were debating, oh, he should leave and he should go to a team that gives him what he wants. And then now what we're talking about is the team kind of gave him like they're at least showing that they're trying, that they want to help him contend. You know,
yeah.
they're trying to please him, and now it's up to him to kind of step up his game. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he does, man. And I still believe, like I mentioned before, I still believe that the Bucks can make it as the number one seed. Doesn't make them championship contenders. They really need to show some improvement, and by they, it starts and it ends with your MVP. Giannis has to do something. And we're talking like we know what we're doing because we don't even play basketball, but we're watching it, right? Like if bro, if the Dunces had our own little lineup, we probably could stop it too just by locking arms together and just staying in the paint. Like and I'm not saying that we're good at basketball at all. I'm just saying like it's that simple to
that
stop
simple.
him.
Yeah.
So he really needs to show us that like not us specifically, but just the NBA or in just the world in general that Giannis is here because he's tried to show it. He got 2 MVPs to back it up, but until he does it in the playoffs, he can
He,
never say a
so
word.
it's what he needs to do. You think he will this season? You think there's a potential for that to happen?
I think Giannis has it in him. Yeah, Giannis. He got it in him, bro. Like
Yeah,
Giannis
I
is that
believe.
good. He's
I
that
believe.
dude. He's that dude. Yeah.
I
But
believe.
yeah, man. But now just quickly about the Warriors though. What I tell you, bro? What I tell y'all? Hold up. What
I
I
had to
tell
move.
y'all?
I had to move the Warriors completely out of my top 8 in the West. They might make it to 10th for the play-in, maybe. We'll see. Because I just did not want to discount a team that had Steph Curry, but Steph Curry, he's not even those first 2 games. He wasn't even able to play a full fourth quarter because they were getting blown out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Because
sad to see, man.
and then this dude Kelly Oubre Jr. Like, I mean, you gotta like, bro, it's Brick City, you know. What was it? There's like a meme. There was like a meme going around of the graphic, and it said replacing clay with bricks. Very clever. I love that, and it showed the metrics with Kelly Oubre Jr. and Andrew Wiggins. And my goodness, those missed shots. Clay would
Yeah.
never do that in the first 5 games, you know, and 2 people averaged that in one game. It's
Now,
ridiculous.
look, man, and defensively, how they looking defensively, bro? Tell me how they look defensively,
It's not looking good. It's not looking
bro.
great.
And like I don't want to toot my own horn, man, because obviously,
I mean, you have been. That's exactly what you're doing. But you have the
yeah,
right.
because I am so mad that everybody's like, nah, bro, you discrediting Curry. I'm like, no, I'm not. I know what
You're
Curry can do.
discrediting the team,
The
not Curry.
team around him cannot lead. Like, yo, just look, and I get it. Draymond Green has been injured, but what is Draymond Green gonna do when he don't have shooters besides Steph? You're gonna be playing Draymond Green and Wiseman together. Green cannot shoot. Wiseman, he could hit a couple, but he's still young. He's a rookie. Like you're not. That's not the shot that you want him to take. You want him to be in the paint, bullying or jumping and grabbing boards and dunking and all that stuff. But the one who's dunking and grabbing all these boards is Kelly Oubre. He has not made a single three. They won the game against the Bulls by a last minute what was it, game winning
Three-pointer.
play by who was it, Jordan Poole?
No, Lee, maybe.
Oh, Damon Lee. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and it was like a lucky shot too. Like they shouldn't have won that game. Like, look, I get it. Curry is a great player to watch.
Curry is Curry. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, and it's like that. It's like it's Curry, and then it's just a bunch of scrubs. And I saw this picture on Instagram. It was like Russell Westbrook took this team to the playoffs and won MVP that season. And this is the year that the year after KD left, and it was like Russell Westbrook, an inconsistent Victor Oladipo, a little overweight Oladipo, by the way, a rookie Sabonis who was not good that season, Andre Roberson who couldn't shoot, Kyle Singler, Steven Adams. Like the team wasn't good, and Russell Westbrook took that team to the sixth seed. And the quote was like, what did it say? It said, uh, "You can't blame Russ or something like that. Like you can't blame Russ for losing in the first round. Like now Curry, he's got to step it up now too, right? Like basically comparing that those two teams. And I get it because like Russell Westbrook balled out that season, and it's like there's no excuse for Curry if Russell Westbrook was be able to do that with that team. How can Steph Curry not do it with this team? And you know what? I agree with it to an extent, but at the same time, if you got players like Kelly Oubre Jr. and inconsistent Andrew Wiggins shooting all them bricks, at some point it's like, dang, it's not even Steph Curry's fault. And you can't compare Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook in that season because Curry's doing what he can, man. And Kelly Oubre, I love him. I think he's a solid player, solid pickup, but he just doesn't fit that team. And Wiggins will never be what we always wanted him to be. Wiggins sucks. And
I agree.
it's sad to see, but the Warriors,
He hasn't stepped up. Like he had 12 points and he missed like 15 shots against a
sucks.
good team against the Bucks. Like you can't be a default second option because Clay is injured. You can't be a second option dropping 12 points. Like, that's no. You
It
can't.
and defensively, like those two, they're supposed to be like big bodies and helping out. Bro, they're not showing it. Like they just show no effort. And it again, it's sad to see because Curry, he doesn't deserve that, especially so late. He's 30, turning 30, 32 in March. Like, we're watching a slow decline because Curry is still Curry. He's great, but he's not gonna keep this up for much longer. And this season, it's just looking like another wash. Like the Warriors, that's another team. They should just get into the lottery. What's the point of winning this season? Like they don't need to.
Honestly, no. I think the if things keep going the way we think they're going to go, the plan should be to develop Wiseman to the best of their ability. And I think if when Clay comes back, he's going to be different. Obviously, coming off the back of two back-to-back injuries, serious injuries. But I still feel like if you get Clay, Draymond, and Curry, and a developing Wiseman, and you get that lottery pick, and you do something with that, like I don't think they should. I think they should maybe trade it away, try to develop Wiseman,
Package it.
right?
Yeah.
Package it right. I feel like next season could be a really good season for them. If or maybe
I
in the next
would.
because
I
they have a very small window for things to work. They have to
Yeah.
make decisions. They can't just be getting these lottery picks and they're going to be wasting away the prime years of their best players. So
I agree with you. I agree with you to an extent, but I think the Clay injury is a lot more serious than people think. Obviously, Achilles injury is a serious injury for anybody. KD and Dominique Wilkins look like the exception because they're just did so great after it. But yo, Klay Thompson, he has ran the most miles in the NBA in the past few seasons, like the seasons he's played. And miles, as in like running back and forth, all this stuff, like running around. According to the NBA, to the stats, he has run some of the most miles in NBA history. His Achilles injury is gonna make him take a lot of steps back. And I get it. You don't need, not that you don't need your Achilles to shoot, but you don't need that, like, because for his game, all he does is catch and shoot. But there's a lot more to it. Defensively, he's gonna take a step back. Um, driving to the rim, obviously you're gonna be a little bit more scared, especially, and KD is different because KD, that's just his way. Like, that's, he's smooth like that. Klay Thompson, he's more like, how do I explain? Like, if he's gonna go inside, he'll do it when he has to, but he wouldn't do it regardless, even before his Achilles injury. Like, he wouldn't drive in and dunk. Like, that's just not him. Now it's gonna be even less of an option for him, right? So defensively, he's gonna take a few steps back. Running around, he's gonna take a few steps back. So I love Klay. I think the NBA needs him and Steph to play together because, man, when they play together, it's something beautiful to watch.
Best
But
backcourt in history.
yeah, and but it's 2 seasons that he's missing, and those 2 years add up. And we're not even taking into account the 3 months that we had off because of a pandemic, right? Like, it might be even longer. However the next season starts, we don't know what's gonna happen by then. So yeah, he may come back and he may come back even better, or he might come back and it's the most obvious scenario where he might not be ever to the player that he ever was. So if that's the case, Warriors dynasty, it's over. They they're done, and they're lucky to make the playoffs this season. They'll most likely make the playoffs with Clay back the upcoming season, or they might not. You never know. There's just, as a team, there's so many question marks. Kelly Oubre Jr. and Andrew Wiggins have not stepped up, and it's sad to see because um, Steph Curry deserves a whole lot more. And we're really seeing Steve Kerr. We don't know if he's a good coach or not. As of right now, he's not. As of right now, he's just a coach that had a great team. So, there's a lot of question marks that have to be answered. Um, Poor Curry, man.
He
That's all I'm
deserves
gonna say.
better. He should not be wasting
Curry.
away his prime years like this.
Yeah. He should come to Brooklyn. Honestly, hey, Curry, if you want, just let me know,
If you
bro.
want to get rid of Kyrie and a couple of first
Uh
rounders,
hold up. This is what Steph Curry's gonna do. He's gonna take a pay cut, all right, and he's just gonna come to Brooklyn. And that's fine.
okay, that actually makes so much sense. So
Yeah,
much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how KD came to the Warriors for a free, a couple easy rings. Steph's going to return the favor. He said, "Yo,
Exactly.
let's just
Exactly.
deal
And he's
some
gonna
rings."
come off the bench. And he's gonna come off the bench. Yeah.
Oh, and that too.
Oh
Oof.
yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
second unit is going to be a unit.
Too good, bro. Too good. But nah. Like, in all seriousness, poor Steph. Poor
He
Steph.
deserves better. Oh, let's hope
Deserve.
for not just our sakes, but for just the game of basketball. Anybody who loves basketball, something happens with the Warriors that things end up better. Things get better.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that as of right now, we're done, bro. There's not much more to talk about with the NBA. A few little surprises here and there. Just real quick, man. Shout out Carl Anthony Towns. I saw he got injured a few days ago. He just had a crappy few months. The COVID-19 pandemic has really
Seven
affected.
relatives,
Yeah,
right?
it really affected him, and just his game too, man. Like, getting injured in, what is it, like the second or third game of the NBA season? Like, it's just
He is at
super tough for him.
terrible year. Like,
Yeah,
feel
super
bad.
tough for him, man. And you know, uh, it sucks, bro. Like, it really, really sucks. Like, that's why, hopefully everybody's staying safe out there. If you got to go out, go out. But get your masks on, sanitize, make sure you clean up everything. Like, shower when you get home. Like, bro, like, I hope you're taking care of yourself, bro. I care about you, fam. Like for real, for real. So,
Yeah.
because I'm doing the same. Not just for you, but just for everybody in general. And just shout out Cat, man.
I felt kind of special. Oof, my chest.
Yeah,
When I
man.
saw
But
it.
I know, right? But yeah, man. No, just real quick, man. Shout out to Cat. Hopefully, hopefully all is well, and we're able to see him back in the court. But we're gonna end the pod here. Isandro, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast, bro.
Yo,
Uh,
two-man pod.
yo, this might have to become a normal thing. These guys don't want to come with us, man. These dunces, bro. These dunces. Johnny, Jordan, Jeremy, where you at? Where you at, guys? But it's all good, man. Yo, Isandro, thank you. To our subscribers, please like, subscribe, and hit that like button. Please, please, please shout us out to your friends. Shout us out to your homies.
Spread
Put
the
us up on
word.
your Instagram. Come on, man. We do the same for y'all if y'all had a YouTube channel as well. But again, we thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining, Isandro. Have a good day and peace.